Hey everybody, it is Johanna here with Orbital Astrology, and I'm here to give you the astrological forecast for the week of the week of November 27th, which is today. So, excuse me, Sunday the 27th through the first week of December. So next Saturday, which would be December 3rd. So we're in the final week of November. I hope you all had a wonderful holiday, Thanksgiving, if you celebrate it, and if you had some time to rest and be with your family. Um, I was gonna say we're in this like really highly charged immutable season, which is Sagittarius season. We're like right in the middle of it, like in the thick of Sagittarius season. And and of course, yes, I'm still like getting over this stupid cough, but any sort of mutable season that you're in feels like it doesn't feel like the time is really there. It's kind of like this in between nebulous transitionary period. So every time I say, oh, whatever, when I say we're in a season, that means the sun is moving through that sign. I'm going to take a drink of water. Hey, Amber. Yay, if you're here live, say hi. Nice to see you, Amber. Um, yeah, it's been a whole week off from work basically at Resonant Essentials just because um, my day at the center is on Thursday, and of course Thursday was Thanksgiving, so I haven't seen my friends, my coworkers for a week, and I'm missing all of them, and I'm very excited to see them next week. But I wanted to talk about being in mutable season and how it feels like it's not even there almost. Like I always talk about mutable season, so that would be Pisces season, Virgo season, Gemini season, then of course the one we're in right now, Sagittarius season. As feels like they could go by so fast because it just doesn't feel like solid, right? Something's not like holding us to the earth in some aspect, like Leo season or Taurus season or Scorpio season. All of those fixed sign seasons make you really feel present and embodied, and like those seasons feel like they last forever. But then the next season after, which is always a mutable season, feels just like it's gone in a second. So um, we are like about halfway through Sagittarius season, even though it feels like we just started it. Um, so sorry. Yeah, so it's a very Sagittarius week, very Pisces week, and a very Gemini week. So it's like triple mutable week because we have Mars in Gemini, which has been retrograde. We have Neptune in Pisces, which has been retrograde, but is coming out of retrograde this week. So that's a big deal. We had Jupiter come out of retrograde last week. So now it really feels like Pisces energy is really flowing, really moving forward. Very strong sort of fantasy, that like misty-eyed, oh, Christmas lights are up, and oh, feeling all warm and fuzzy about the holidays, and getting excited about magic and all of that stuff. So Pisces really is like the most mutable of all the signs, in my opinion, because it's kind of like one foot on earth, one foot in like the other realm, and you're just kind of floating around in the la la land. So that energy is really present this week because we're having Neptune coming out of retrograde. And since Neptune and Jupiter are both associated with Pisces, last week we had Jupiter station right on the new moon. So it felt very like, oh, we're in Sagittarius season because Sagittarius is Jupiter is the ruler of Sagittarius. So we just have a lot of like sort of buoyant and dreamy and excitable and hopeful energy happening this week. But it still feels a little wacky, right? Because it's not super grounded. It's not very um I don't know. It's going to be hard to focus this energy. So if you have a modality where you can focus energy, like Amber does Reiki, or if or a tarot reader, or whatever your modality is, if you do yoga, if you do hula hooping, if you do, walking or running or whatever you have as far as your tangible earthly modality, that's going to be really helpful this week to try to focus this energy because it's really lovely feeling energy with so much Jupiter and Neptune. And of course, Sagittarius is a very positive sign. And then, of course, Pisces is that dreamy aspect. So we have a lot of Jupiter really moving around this week. But we also have a little bit of tension with that Mars because since we're in Sagittarius season, that means the sun's in Sagittarius, but the two little buddy planets, which I like to call them, Venus and Mercury, the two personal planets, they really like interacting with people and hearing opinions and bouncing ideas off each other and really caring about the feelings and emotions and the well-being of others. Those two planets are moving really quickly and they're very close together right now. So Venus and Mercury are moving through the very same degrees of Sagittarius this week. And so we're going to get Mercury first because moves a little bit faster than Venus. So he's going to be talking with a bunch of a bunch of other planets and coming into an opposition with Mars because Mars is in Gemini. Sagittarius and Gemini are 180 degrees away from each other in the zodiac, which means that it's like a standoff. It's kind of like an argument, or my sticks in the ground here, your sticks in the ground here, and therefore I have this opinion, and then there's the exact opposite opinion. So that's kind of the oppositional energy of the week. And Mars in Gemini, I was going to ask people, how are you guys feeling? Because Mars has been retrograde. Mars has been in Gemini for a very long time. It's not going to leave Gemini till April of next year. It's a huge, long transit through Gemini. How are you doing? Are you guys doing okay? A lot of like, sometimes a lot of things have to be redone, or like a lot of negative, or sometimes passionate, or angry, or maybe just intense energy sort of bubbling up inside of you, stuff that you thought, maybe you had already taken care of, or maybe, oh, I didn't realize I still felt this way, or I didn't think that I still had this feeling. I want to avoid controversy and challenges, especially at work. Yes. So when we have Mars and Gemini, sometimes the arguments can happen between, let's see, well, Gemini is the twins. It's also an air sign. So that usually means communication or some sort of idea exchange. I don't want to say you're arguing with like your best friend or your twin flame or or something like that, but Gemini really does need to have somebody to bounce off of each other. Yeah, so a lot of things are coming up, and I was going to say, if you have Gemini placements, I mean, we all have Gemini in our chart somewhere, but sometimes we don't actually have planets or asteroids or points or angles in Gemini. But somebody, you have a house in Gemini, or if you have Gemini friends, which I live with two Geminis. I live with a Gemini partner, um, a man, and I also have a teenage daughter who's Gemini. So it's been really interesting to see how this has been affecting them. And when you think about Mars, sometimes it's much more associated with the masculine aspect. So that can actually mean, a physical embodiment of masculinity. So the men in your life or the male figures in your life can be a little triggered with Mars and Gemini. So this can be, yeah, like your brother, sister, parents, son, daughter, or I guess, any aspect of masculinity in a relationship or in an embodiment in your life can be affected by this. So, this can be arguments with your dad or your son or your brother, or male coworkers, or you can just sort of see them get a little fired up about something, or a little bit I don't know, on edge about something, or you can see them having to redo something, right? Because it is still retrograde. So so I always kind of like, just step back and observe what's happening. If you can, try not to engage in people in an argument. If you don't want to be in an argument with somebody, you don't have to, right? You can walk away. But sometimes when Mars is involved, it's hard, right? Because Mars wants to engage. Mars wants to have a um, Mars wants to be in sort of a confrontational relationship, especially when we come into an opposition. So I know a lot of people are like, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do this, but astrology is it's up there in the sky, right? We can't change how the planets move. We can't change the directional motion of the earth spinning, or the moon, or anything. I mean, we just have to live with that, right? And I don't want to make people feel like they're victims, or things are hopeless, but it does help to actually prepare for these things, just to see that they're coming up. So if you don't want to get into a fight at work, if you don't want to come into a confrontation with your partner or your family members, then you don't have to, of course, engage in that, but there may be some sort of bubbling, churning disagreement coming up. And, how can we work with that in a positive way where you don't have to be affected by it, or you don't have to be um, letting it, mess up your day or ruin some aspect of your life. It doesn't have to be that way. So astrology gives us that the opportunity to be more aware of what's happening and what's coming up in the future. So that's why I give you the dates. when these events happen, so you can sort of like mentally prepare for them. And of course, sometimes they don't actually manifest in a external way. It could be a very internal thing for you. It could be something that you're struggling within, like a topic or something that you're passionate about. That could be something that needs to be reworked internally. So you don't have to worry about like a big public fight or anything. I'm just talking about the different aspects of how Mars retrograde can come up for people. And especially in Gemini, it may be something just mental for you. You may have like a struggle, you may be struggling with an idea or struggling with a concept that you thought that you had figured out, but now it's coming up again. And you're like, no, why? Why is this happening? But anyway, I wanted to sort of talk about, I'll give you the dates for those kind of confrontational days in a second. But I wanted to talk a little bit about I just lost my train of thought. It was um well, the positive aspect of this time period is that it's Jupiter ruled. Jupiter is the most benefic planet in astrology. Sagittarius season is always going to be looking towards Jupiter. Jupiter is kind of like the overall happy Santa Claus looking out for everybody and trying to like I said, bring gifts to people. And so we're in this transitional period where Sagittarius is the main focus. We have the Sun in Sag, we have Mercury in Sag, we have Venus in Sag, three planets in Sagittarius. So that means that Jupiter is sort of watching over all of them, supporting all of them, which is a great thing because Jupiter is the planet of generosity, good luck, positivity, abundance, expansion. So always wanting to make everything bigger that it touches. So great time to, want to be thinking about how you want to expand specific things in your life. But it also gives us an opportunity to be grateful. I talked about this, as being associated with Thanksgiving, and Sagittarius seasons always during Thanksgiving because Jupiter really is about gratitude as well. I mean, be happy for the blessings that you have and be grateful for the things that are going well in your life. And okay. And so because the next 2 months and the next two seasons, Capricorn season and Aquarius season, are Saturn ruled seasons. And so that's the kind of point in the year, Capricorn is officially beginning of winter. And that's when everyone starts feeling a little, down, or, the sun starts going away. We don't have much daylight anymore. So it really feels kind of, it's cold and it feels kind of like the lowest or the darkest time of the year for a lot of people. So I really encourage you to celebrate this pre-Saturn season with all of this Jupiter energy coming along and being thankful for all the things that you have. We do really feel very hopeful right now, and things may be kind of in flux, like I said, with the mutable energy. Is anybody experiencing like new things coming in, or highly changeable situations where you have to adapt to something new? I'm sorry. Because I have had an incredibly crazy in the past 2 weeks, changing, having new opportunities where I'm like up in the middle of the night at about 1:30 and I'm like staring at the stars and I'm like, wow, I have a real new appreciation of how beautiful and how bright the night sky is. And a lot of times as an astrologer, you're just so busy looking at all your paperwork and all your degrees and your ephemeris and your books that you don't actually go out and look at the sky. So this may be a really kind of weird transitional opportunity for people to have hope and find joy. Um, but like I said, we need something to ground it a little bit and really just enjoy that time of the year. Even if something feels a little confrontational this week, even if something feels a little like unstable this week, always look back to that Jupiter. Always look back to that. What are you grateful for? What are the blessings in your life? And how are you getting through that? I mean, I was listening to a book about parenting because I have a highly spirited 3-year-old who's almost 4, who's a Capricorn, and it said, have confidence in your ability to do this, right? Because you were chosen to be this kid's this parent for a reason, and you feel like you can't do it. Stop thinking that way because you're here. They chose you to be their parent. You can do this. And I really felt like encouraged by that. So that's the type of energy that Jupiter really brings to us, makes us feel good, makes us feel supported. So yeah, if you start feeling a little like about this week, if there's some sort of Marsy thing happening to you, really understand that it will pass, right? Because Mars is everything that happens during a retrograde is not set in stone, because it's always like a relook at something, or um, you're going to pass over these degrees once Mars goes direct. And so don't feel like this is like, especially since it's Gemini. Gemini is a mutable season, it's a mutable sign, right? So it's not like, you know, Taurus or Scorpio or Aquarius. Like those are the fixed signs. If things happen in those signs, sometimes it feels more permanent. Gemini, changes its mind all the time. So if you get into an argument, don't feel like, oh God, that's the last time I'm ever going to have to see this person or, have this argument. No, it probably will be something that can be changeable or in flux in the future. So, some other things. Let's see. So we're in sort of a very forward moving, even if it feels a little weird, it feels a little transitional. Um, Jupiter is moving forward. Jupiter is in its final leg of Pisces. I talked about this last week. It's only going to be in Pisces till December 20th. So we get this final 23 days of, I guess, more like, three. Yeah, right. Fighting and apologizing and fighting again. Exactly. That's real Mars retrograde energy, especially with Gemini. Gemini's just like blah 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 blah. We want to like talk about our feeling. When just maybe not even our feelings, maybe just talk about something. We have to like be expressing something. But anyway, what was I saying? So yeah, we're in this final phase of Jupiter and and Pisces. Sorry, we only get it for a few more weeks. So really, really take advantage of that. That's magic time. Because Jupiter doesn't stay in a sign, it doesn't come back to the same sign for 12 years. So we're not going to have Jupiter in Pisces for 12 more years. So all the babies born right now are not going to have their Jupiter return until they are 12 years old, and then 24, and then 36. You get a Jupiter return every 12 years. So, so we are in this awesome phase where we get to celebrate the Pisces aspect, the benefits of Jupiter and Pisces, which are very spiritual, very metaphysical. And if you are looking at taking a class, definitely do that in the next, before the 20th of December, because it's going to probably feel extra special and extra effective. Any sort of healing or reading you get in the next few weeks, you're probably going to feel like really affected by that, or really, it's going to be really intense. So, what are we doing? Let's see. Yeah, meditation can definitely be great too. Let's see. Somebody said that, feeling triggered. I try to meditate all the time. Yeah, so meditation is going to be really important during the next few weeks. It's probably going to be very effective, like I said. So, Neptune, right? So Neptune also associated with Pisces is going to be coming out of retrograde on the 3rd of December. And we are in the waxing moon phase. We had the new moon last week. So we are in the first quarter moon phase this week. So everything feels kind of like a building of moving towards something in our next phase of our development, evolution, whatever, spiritual, political, emotional, developmental life. So let's see, Friday, Saturday. So next Saturday is when Neptune stations direct, and that means it's like a full-blown Pisces energy as of Saturday the 3rd of December. So yeah, I would say if you're gonna pick some sort of class or metaphysical class or spiritual class or get a reading or get a healing, I would say that's a great day to do it. So Saturday the 3rd or any day after that up until the 20th, that's when the Pisces energy is going to be the most intense and potent. So let's see. Next week, what are we doing? Today, what do we have? I didn't even look actual today stuff. Moon goes into Aquarius today. Then we have Moon all the way to Tuesday the 29th. It goes into Pisces. So then we're having all of the first phase of the opposition energy between the planets in Sagittarius and Mars and Gemini retrograde. So Tuesday the 29th, we have Mercury in Sag, which is the communication planet. And Mercury likes to talk. He's a winged messenger, right? He brings news. He brings communication. So it could be a confrontational news day. You could be hearing a lot of crazy things happen in the news. And that's happening at 1:30 p.m. on Tuesday the 29th, and it's going to be at 19 degrees. So 19 degrees Sagittarius, 19 degrees Gemini. So wherever you have that in your natal chart, then that's where you should check out and see what two houses are being, working together, right? You have Sagittarius on one house, and in the opposite house, you'll have Gemini. So Tuesday, you may feel a little like, oh, someone's confronting me. I might need to bounce some ideas off of somebody else, or if that's the day that you're worried about like getting into a fight or getting into some sort of confrontation, just be aware that that's the first leg of what's happening. Because Wednesday is the second phase. I mean, Venus and Mercury are so close together right now that it's going to be like boom one day, and the next day the other planet is going to have the exact same alignment. So Tuesday it starts with Mercury, then Wednesday we'll have Venus, and Venus is much more supportive usually than Mercury. Mercury is like, I don't care, I'm not on either side, I'm very like neutral. I just want to like say the thing, and I don't really care about the repercussions, which side feels bad, which side doesn't feel bad. So Tuesday may be much more of a shocking day. Wednesday is the supportive day. Like, so you have the conversation on Tuesday, which is much more like neutral or not so particular about hurting people's feelings. And then Wednesday is like oh wow, I really wanted to support you in this aspect, or how can we talk about this in a much more supportive aspect, and Mars may not be cooperative. Mars is like, I don't care, I just want to say what I want to say. I'm pissed off, or I'm very passionate about this. And Venus is like, well, great that I'm happy you're passionate about it, but I need to actually work with it in a functional way so everyone is heard, everyone feels supported. And of course, um, Venus wants to share information in a way that can be a teachable moment in an effective way. So that happens on Wednesday, the opposition. So those are the 2 days, if you're worried about a fight or an argument or a confrontation, those are the 2 days that you should be looking out for. Just stay home if you don't want to go into work, or whatever, call in sick. So December 1st is Thursday. Wow, we're finally into December. It's crazy. This year is almost over, right? And then the moon goes into Aries on December 1st. So now we have Mercury going into a square with Neptune. So Neptune's still retrograde, right, until Saturday. But on Thursday, Mercury comes into a conversation with Neptune. And, after having a conversation with Mars, which can kind of trigger people a little, it comes into a confrontation or a challenge, not as confrontational, but asking Neptune for a sort of a different spin on what spirituality means. So this can be some sort of situation where you have to reevaluate or change your perspective on spirituality, or maybe try something new with meditation. Oh, sorry, I forgot to turn on my notifications. So that can be kind of exciting, and it can be an opportunity to learn something new about spirituality. So yeah, if you're looking for a class, right, or taking something or learning something, December 1st, Thursday, could be that opportunity to look at spirituality in a new way, to learn something new, or have a conversation with somebody and learn something that you never have learned or known about. So it can be a good opportunity for that. Just make sure you're open to a different point of view, because some people, they think the way they think, and they believe in what they believe, and they don't want to have any sort of change to that. So we are in a very changeable season right now. So there may be some other conflicting ideas or other opinions about spirituality or metaphysics or whatever that you might want to be open to, or you might want to sort of rethink, because there's so much Jupiter Neptune energy, and then we coming in with Mercury really triggering that conversation between all of that. This could be a really insightful, enlightening week. So just make sure you're a little bit open to that, because nothing's permanent, right? Nothing is going to be, at least not right now. There's a lot of newness and a lot of things in flux. So Friday is kind of a quiet day, which is nice, right? We'd like to have a little rest after all of this, like maybe a little Friday we can all digest all of the conversations and the confrontations we've had this week. So yeah, think of it as a process, right? And think of it as a way to learn something new, a way to hear other points of view, and then, assess that with your own views, with your own belief system. It's not an attack on you, it's just a different point of view. So Friday is a good day to digest all of that. Nothing really big is happening on Friday. Of course, things can sort of like happen the day before and then it all can come out or be processed, and you might have a negative reaction to it, or you may have like an overwhelming sense of like, wow, I really went through a lot this week. Now I need to just like rest on Friday. Saturday the 3rd is the day that Neptune goes direct. So that's a big day. Neptune and Jupiter both in Pisces. They're like working together, bringing enlightenment, bringing spirituality, bringing hopes and dreams and visions and our creativity, inspiration. You know, it's a great time to like put music on and meditate or do high frequency, sound baths, all of that. That's all very Neptunian. And so it's a great time to do all that. So Saturday the 3rd, really great day to really experience something really spiritual. So yeah, that's the end of the week. So I'll be back next Sunday. And of course, I will be at Resonant Essentials on Thursday this week. So, like I said, Thursday is that day with Mercury confronting Neptune or having a challenge by Neptune. So, if you're looking for an astrology reading and you want to learn something new, if you have a question that's like, you're like, oh my gosh, I can't figure this out in my life. Why is this happening to me? That might be a great day for an astrology reading. So, if you want to have a reading with me, definitely go on resonantessentials.com. You can book it for Thursday, the 1st of December. It's crazy, the 1st of December. And if not, I'll be there next Thursday, the second week of December. And of course, if there's anything else that you are interested in, if you're not into astrology, which I'm assuming you are since you're here, but all the other practitioners on our website, check them out on resonantessentials.com. There's some great classes coming up. So I hope you all have a wonderful week. Yeah, just kind of go with the flow. That's kind of the good advice I have for you this week. And know that nothing is permanent, right? Whatever arguments you get into, whatever things happen that feel a little freaked out about, it will pass. So I hope you all have a great week. And hopefully next week this stupid cough will be gone so I don't have to cough through these presentations anymore. And yeah, I hope you all are well and healthy and had a great holiday. So I'll see you next Sunday. Bye.